Hello, I'm Sam Branon. I came to California in 1846 because Brigham Young asked me to bring a group of saints. That was the years when we were being persecuted, and I was asked to bring all the saints that could come, and I came on the ship Brooklyn, all the way around the Cape Good Horn and came up to San Francisco, the Bay of San Francisco, community of Yerba Buena, arriving in July 1846. When we got here, July 31st, 1846, we were surprised to find out that this was not Mexico. This was the United States. When we sailed in that San Francisco Bay with the 235, we were greeted by a ship, and they did not do anything because they saw all of the children there and the women on the ship. But they were in wartime. We found out there was a war going on between Mexico, and of course we did become part of the United States. But we were the first group after the United States claimed California to come in, the first immigrants into the state, into the area known as California, which eventually became the state, of course. And we had a wonderful and interesting and eventful trip. We lost a few people. We had 2 berths on the ship, and it was a very eventful ship ride all the way, the 6 months we were on that ship, to arrive here in this wonderful place. I've always loved California, and some people call me the father of the gold rush, and that's because of the things that I did when I was here. You know, I met John Sutter when I went up the river to his fort, Sutter's Fort, and used him as, when I had my newspaper, I asked him if he would report on the news, and he worked for me for a short period of time. Later we became friends, and then we had a falling out when I bought some property from his son, August. I did a lot of things here. One of the things I did is I had a store. I created a store, first store in the Sacramento Valley, across from Sutter's Fort. Later I had another store on the river in the Embarcadero. I guess they call it Old Sacramento now. And I happened to be at the right place at the right time when gold was discovered. So after I established my stores here, I was able to sell the mining equipment to people who wanted it. But I had to create a little bit of demand, so I took some gold that at Mormon Island. Mormon Island, by the way, was where 2 Mormon battalion members created a little colony, or created a place which was the first gold strike after Coloma. Coloma, of course, happened July of 1848. By that time, I'd had my newspaper going and was successful, but it wasn't as successful as it became when the gold rush began. So I ran down the streets yelling, "Gold, gold," in the American River. And that was the beginning of something that we know as the gold rush. I also, with my newspaper, created the California Star. I created a little interest in California. I published 2,000 of copies and sent them back east. I hired Mormon battalion members and a few others and sent them on a Pony Express. We call it the California Star Express, to the newspapers and to back east, to bring people interested in California. This is a wonderful place. I thought this was where the saints ought to go. Of course, they didn't. I went back to Brigham Young to try to talk him into it. I couldn't understand why he didn't arrive here, but so I went back April of 47 to find him, and he said that he would know the place where he was going to go when he got to it. And when I talked to Brigham Young at Green River, he said that with all the wonderful things that I told him about, if it's that good, we'd probably have Gentiles moving in and be persecuted again. I was very disappointed. I thought Brigham Young was wrong. You know, looking back, maybe that was a mistake I made, but I loved and stayed here in California. And my greatest wonderful memories are my time in the church. I learned my trade of newspapering under Don Carlos Smith in Kirtland. That's where I joined as a 14-year-old boy. And I helped build the Kirtland Temple and was blessed by the prophet Joseph Smith, with his hands on my head. And yet I let the pursuit of money get to me, but I have many regrets in my life. But I was here, and I brought those saints here and helped them, and it was a wonderful time to be in California.
Go ahead.
It is an honor to be one of California's earliest pioneers and be a Latter-day Saint at that time.